You're watching Talking Points, a focus on the political scene in Lubbock and across the South Plains.
Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the political headlines of the past week. 2 years ago this month, 18-month-old Reese Ham-Smith passed away after swallowing a button battery. Since her passing, the family has successfully passed Reese's Law, a federal mandate requiring clearer labeling and safer enclosures on batteries. Reese's mom is warning parents this time of year batteries are more accessible and can be found in anything from tea lights, holiday greeting cards, even toothbrushes and thermometers. And in Uvalde, dissatisfaction for families of the victims killed in the Robb Elementary School mass shooting. The Uvalde County Commissioner's Court hired an attorney to review its sheriff's department, but the report only looked at the department's procedures and policies, not their response to the shooting. The report did say that the department did not have an active shooter policy until September of this year, 4 months after the shooting. Families continued their demands that both the county sheriff and police chief resign.
Without a doubt, he will be missed, and his impact on the game of football in Mississippi State University will prove to be timeless. We will continue to look back fondly on the memories that Coach Leach, the Pirate, graciously left us with.
Congressman Michael Guest of Mississippi on the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives talking about the football great we lost so suddenly. Former Red Raiders head coach Mike Leach. We're back now with Mayor Trey Payne. Changing gears just a little bit, let's talk big dreams, big goals, and maybe just a Mayor of Lubbock wish list for 2023. Yeah. We're starting a big year. Yeah,
it's a big year. You know, I've thought about that, and when we went into our planning session, last month, what it kind of boiled down to are things that may not be, really as exciting for some people, but my big dream for this year is that we kind of tighten the ship, that we really focus on efficiency and things that may not be as big ticket items, but things that are needed. We're working on a trash transfer station in South Lubbock to make us more efficient with our sanitation. We have needs for storage warehousing in south part of Lubbock because of the growth where trucks aren't driving back and forth. We have need of more fueling stations so our trucks aren't driving all around the city. Things like that kind of get me excited. The efficient things about that's kind of geeky of you, Trey, but my big ticket items are things that make us more efficient as a city because that's what the people want. And also coming into this year that we are very efficient and fluid as we go from ERCOT, or if we go into the ERCOT system and we go into the open market. Those are things that are going to be really important to me this year.
And I love that you mentioned that because that is my next question. That is going to be a huge transition, a large undertaking. LP&L, we talked to them a lot about this, but for the city, what does this mean?
Well, I think we saw a very fluid transfer last time when we went 70% into the ERCOT system. So we only have 30% remaining. Okay. And that will be a big issue for LP&L and our engineers and everyone, a big undertaking. But once that's done, the thing that we've got to really focus on is the education of our citizens. Mm-hmm. When you go into this open market, it's just a little different. No one's going to be left behind. No one will be left without electricity. People can put those fears aside. We will have a POLR, or a provider of last resort, so they will always have a fallback. Those are things we will have to decide this year. Okay. But educating and making sure that the citizens understand how you do it. It's somewhat easy, but what you pick, what you don't, what provider you pick that fits your needs, that'll be really important, especially for some of our older citizens who may not be as savvy technologically.
And it's different.
It's different.
Change is hard.
Change is hard. It is. Even if it's better, it's still going to be hard.
Oh, absolutely. And, that's a great way to look at just the entire direction of the city. Mm-hmm. Growth is hard too. Yes. And yes, when I first moved to Lubbock, I thought, wow, the streets here are so large. They've planned for this, but it still is hard when growth happens. There's industry coming here. There's big changes happening. Are we ready for growth like that?
I really believe we are. And again, we've got, Loop 88, look at that as an example. Mm-hmm. Lubbock has traditionally been really, really strong in that. I mean, we're a grid, we've got some space, we're easy to get around in, and we want to keep it that way because we don't want to be Austin. People don't want to be bogged down waiting, an hour and a half to get to work. And so looking at what we have coming in the future, our street road bond package being passed, all those things just make us prepare more for growth that we can expect. We're very strong on water. We've got a great system in place. we've got a lot of great things that are coming on. And so I think we are prepared. We just have to continue to not to look at 10 years from now, but we have to plan for 50 years from now.
Yeah.
And that's part of the planning process that we're always talking about.
Yeah, literally paving the way to a bigger.
Lubbock's future.
See
That's
what
right.
I did
Yeah.
there. Well, I know that the next state legislative session starts in January, just not very long at all now, but I know that you can have conversations with lawmakers. This is what Lubbock needs. This is where Lubbock stands in the state of Texas. What is that vision for you? Does Lubbock need anything from the state?
Well, I think we always want to work closely with our state reps, and I've had conversations with them. We're very blessed to have really strong representation here, and Mr. Tepper coming in and taking Mr. Frulo's spot will be incredible for us. Mm-hmm. And I've had lunches and met with those gentlemen, and I'm really excited for this next session. You know, one thing that I have discussed with them and had meetings on is we've got to really take a look at the mental health issue that's coming out. And we have a diversion center that the county and Lubbock have combined to work together on. We've allocated money for that. Mm-hmm. That will be out at Sunrise Canyon. And when we go out there and look at that, we have to look at the needs moving forward with our mental health and things that go on with addiction and recovery. And I think that Senator Perry is particularly looking into that,
Yes.
you know, working on ways that we can get West Texas money. You know, a lot of those funds seem to go down to South Texas and to these bigger cities. And so I'm really encouraged that they're looking ways for us to get money up here to address some of those issues. It also helps you with law enforcement. It helps you in so many different areas when we have resources where we can have facilities able to help these people and also help our law enforcement community.
Yeah, I like that a lot. We talked specifically to Dan Patrick about his rural Texas priorities, and those were his too, were mental health and law enforcement, and maybe diverting some of those funds. Are funds what you need, or is there other things that you need? Laws passed, legislation, anything like that? Or?
Well, you're never going to get anybody that's in politics and ever to say they don't need funds.
Yeah,
all
that's
right?
fair.
So, but you know, just allocating those properly where we ensure, you know, we help run this state. I mean, you've heard politicians say this, but we really are the fuel, fiber, and food of the state out here. And so they have to recognize that and make sure that we're getting those resources that we also need out here on the South Plains and in West Texas, which the large majority of that being Lubbock. So I hope they really take a look at that and look at that this next session.
Yeah. And last question, you mentioned food, fiber, fuel. This is an image that Lubbock takes to the rest of the state. When the rest of the state thinks Lubbock, what are you wanting them to think of?
You know what Lubbock is? Lubbock is about the people, and we say that. You know, we kind of always fall back on the sunsets and the sunrises. But you know what? Businesses are looking to come to Lubbock today, and business and people are moving to Lubbock because of the people, because of the work ethic, because of the people that we have out here, because of our community and the community efforts that we have where people want to be involved in their community. And you know, and it doesn't hurt that we have Texas Tech in our backyard, the best and greatest university that ever existed. And so I get excited about talking about Lubbock because I'm from here. I'm from West Texas, and I love this part of the country, and I love other people to know how much I love this part of the country. And so as we move into 2023, I want us to be efficient as a city so people want to continue to move and grow and raise families here, because that's what it's all about here in Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Mayor. Coming up, a surge at the border, what Texas lawmakers want from the federal government to handle the influx of immigrants.